Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast. So you're just like traveling on the road to the next hotel, right?
One hotel to the next, yes, sir.
Been on the road a ton, man.
I spend a few nights out. I was in Jackson, Mississippi yesterday and headed to Southern Oklahoma today.
Yeah, it's a little different than when we met, man. I will introduce a guest today. Usually we don't even introduce you till we're 3/4 of the way through the thing, but I got Brandon White on with us, and Buddy has made a reappearance. This is 2 podcasts this week for you. I better slow down.
I'm a traveling man too.
You
traveled the 6 miles to my house twice this week just to sit down with Jason and you.
Oh, sorry, I got to leave the shop to go home and record a podcast.
When we get the new shop, I'm gonna try to get a mini studio set up so that I can just go, because I've done a couple of them from my desk and the audio is just horrible.
Too much background.
Well, that microphone, the headset microphone that I got, just doesn't give me the authority that I deserve.
We're getting ready we're putting a studio in the new Full Cry headquarters. We got one of those big old sheds, prefabs. So I'm taking like the last 8 feet of it and making a recording studio in there. So as long as the neighbor kid ain't on his dirt bike, we'll be A-okay.
So Danny's going to give you a part of our she shed?
Yeah, I get part of the she shed. I have to do most of the work on it, but I get to utilize part of it. Yeah, that's been a project, man.
Is it going to get finished? Or are you just going to half-ass and not quite finish it all?
See, that's the thing. Track record and me, it's going to get half-assed, but it's her project, so it absolutely will not. Like, I was out there hanging insulation by flashlight the other night. We're trying. We got to find a way to get stuff out of our house. Like, because trust me, when you got like 1939 issues and all the stuff through the, World War, like today, Casey just turned on the kitchen faucet and spun the thing around and sprayed it all over the living room. Like, they could get ruined at any given moment in our house. So we got to get them like relocated. And they're good insulation. Stack them up against the wall. It'll be even better for recording.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brandon, we were talking the other day, but we've kind of known each other for a while now. And then kind of, you went your way and we quit showing. Yeah. But, to run into you at Grand American, that was really cool to see a familiar face and get to talk to you about Next Level Dog Food a little bit. So Brandon White, thank you for coming on and joining us today.
Man, thank you for having me. We appreciate it.
So yeah, how did you know Brandon before?
Dog shows, man.
Dog shows?
Dog shows.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years ago. Me and Jason used to wear the pretty blazers and trot around the ring.
I never wore a blazer. I couldn't bring myself to do it, but I did wear pearl button-ups. Like
I do have a picture of myself wearing a bright pink blazer.
Yeah, he was in Blue Ticks, and we were all part of the national club.
Can make some pearl button-up Blue Tick. I mean,
dude,
like. I think we should just stay on this topic for a while. You guys want to pass this topic up really quickly. I'm just noticing that you guys are like, we just know each other from before. I'm like,
no, man. That's back in the day. Competitive dog show world is crazy.
Oh, it's very competitive. There's a movie called Best in Show, buddy. You should watch that.
I've told him that several times. It's the best movie ever made. Best in Show.
Best in Show.
Really?
It's got Eugene Levy.
Yeah, the hound guy.
Oh, man. It's hilarious. And it is true. It's absolutely true. Like those 100%. People, you have met them at a dog show. I guarantee it. It's funniest thing I've ever watched, probably. And it's fairly clean.
Fairly
clean. Maybe not. I don't know. I say that, and then you go watch something. And it's like,
that's okay. I'm watching that roast of Tom Brady.
Oh my!
And it's not clean. I'm telling you what. I was like, whoa, okay. little quick for the kids.
Mute.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I can handle this Best in Show dog movie if that roast is any close.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's PG-13, I think, but no, that's how Buddy and I met through the dog shows, and
Jason.
like I say, I just went
he
selling.
screws up names
You know,
too.
I ain't no dog show person.
No,
I've
but
never-
it's all right. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. I just want to make sure that the
He
people
calls me
listening do.
James all the time. Like,
You can call me whatever you want, but don't call me a
Don't
blue
call you
tick shower.
oh,
Don't call you to a dog show.
Yeah,
no,
I got a blue tick. I'm not that prejudiced, but
hey,
man,
believe it or not, Brandon, his blue tick's related to all the same stuff we were showing.
There
He
you
doesn't
go.
know all that, but it is.
Yeah.
No.
But no, that's how we met. And then I went to selling pet food, on a full time basis and traveling hard and hitting it hard. And whenever I compete, whether it be in a night hunt, with my hounds, back I run the competition circle or showing, I want to win.
Mhm.
And I also want to try to sell you some dog food. And it's awful hard to compete in a night hunt and sell dog food at the same time.
Yeah.
So I kind of got out of the competition hunting and showing some, got out of shows, but still have some hounds, and I get the pleasure of judging some events. I've got a couple of big judging assignments coming up this year that I'm looking forward to. So that's how we
awesome.
met.
Right on.
Yeah,
Good little
those
background.
were the days, man.
Yeah.
If you got any pictures of Jason wearing a button up
There's lots of them.
pearl,
Go Facebook stalk it, man. We had the #1 dog in the nation, man. Like, there's plenty of pictures.
all right, I'm gonna start looking.
Now he's gonna start searching. Were
Yeah.
you? I don't think you were at the Roseburg show. One of those years, best one I ever went to. I had to show dogs that were just covered in skunk juice.
No, I
They
wasn't
both
there.
got into one. Oh my god! And the judge, she was very, very gracious,
Yeah.
and she kind of smiled about it. She says, "So I take it they're working dogs too." I said, "Yes, ma'am. They are not very good ones some days, but they
do
are."
their job. Yeah. They're
So we
gamey.
Febrezed them. Just 2 cans of Febreze, spray them down. They were good to go.
Too funny.
So yeah, that's how we met. And then, we bumped into each
How
other.
long ago was that?
2014.
Okay.
Yeah, 10, 11,
Yeah.
12, 13, 14, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere, maybe a little before.
Copy.
But yeah.
So-
And then we bumped into each other at Grand American, and I saw you were wearing a different hat. I have the same cowboy hat, but
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
you with Next Level Dog Food, and we got to talking, and we're going to be working together on some full cry advertising stuff. But we wanted to get you on here just to kind of give you a chance to introduce the company. And I know you guys have had a lot going on. I know you talked with Buddy a bit about the new plant and what you guys have got going on. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on and just educate people and let them know what you guys got.
And I ran into you at Pheasant Fest, I think, right? Is that where
Yeah.
it
Yep,
wasn't
the
it yet,
Fest
yeah.
Fest up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah, I went up there and I tried to walk the show just a little bit because it was a new show for us. I don't know if we're gonna go back next year, but we'll see.
Next year's in Kansas City, man. You have to come on down.
I know.
There you
but,
go.
man. It's those shows that are in February, like they cut into hunting.
That's
time.
cat
Yeah.
season.
They do.
It's cat season, so it's like it's got to be a pretty good pull for me to get my ass out.
Yeah. No, those that know who I am, know where I come from. A previous lifetime we repped. We sold another brand of pet food, and that company sold in 2020, and had to take a 2-year hiatus. And then so we went down the street about 7 miles and built a brand new, beautiful plant, very streamlined. Go to our Facebook page. Scott Glover, one of the owners, just posted a video where he did a full walkthrough of the plant, and it is a beautiful facility, very streamlined. And it's awful hard to find another pet food company that will actually do that and post on social media. Ours is full transparency, wide open, beautiful place, but just getting it all finished up and started running product back in September. They're already adding the second extrusion line, so they have a second hammer mill, extruder, dryer, packaging line, and have the capabilities of doing a little over 350,000 tons a year, pretty easy.
Tons.
Tons, yes.
350,000
Yeah.
tons.
We can unload in our
How
receiving
many pounds
pit.
is that?
Well,
Dude.
2,000 pounds a ton. So
My calculator doesn't even go
that's
that
a lot.
Who's
Is that you ringing?
Yeah, I
it's
did.
not
I'm
me.
sorry about that. That was mine.
Oh
I'm
no,
sorry
you're
about
good.
that.
I was just gonna bust his chops.
That was a famous blue ticker, Eddie Green, calling me there from Miami, Oklahoma, Grafton.
They're blue tick guys. They can't. I mean, no respect, man. No respect, those guys.
Yeah, but anyway, we talk about our plant. It's
So
beautiful place.
350,000 tons.
Tons. Yeah.
And then a ton is 2,000 pounds.
2,000.
Yeah.
That's 700 million pounds.
Pounds of dog food.
A little bit of dog food.
That's a little bit. Yeah. It's kibbles, man.
That's a lot
Just
of dog
a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. I can't, like, tons, and I gotta see some numbers that I can relate with.
And we just, one of the things we put in our, if you watch that video on Facebook, it shows the inside, and you got your pre-cooked side and then your post-cooked side, and there's a kind of a break there, and those employees don't intermingle with each other. Kind of a neat process. That way you kind of help control contamination.
So we were talking about that in Sioux Falls. So, and I, like, what you're describing is like basically two buildings kind of side by side, but they're not directly, I mean, they're connected, but not easily connected. Like there's a breezeway or something, right?
It's a breezeway, correct. They're connected by the roof. And then, so like your kibble comes through the extruder, and then it's pneumatically pushed up through the ceiling, if you can imagine it, in a pipe into the post-cook side of the dryer. And that's how you try to help control your contamination.
So it goes into so after it's cooked, it goes into the second building. Yep,
the dryer, where it receives into the dryer at about 20% moisture, and we dry it down to 6%, 8% moisture, and then the coater pallets it.
So basically, you got two buildings, and the pre-building is like where you're making the batter or whatever you call it. Well, what do you call it?
Yeah, it's more of a feed. That's the feed meal part. Where the grains, the meats, meals are there, and it all gets run into a hammer mill and gets put together in your mixer, so to speak.
Yep. And then it gets cooked, and then from there it goes into the second building, and there's no way for it to go back. I mean, once it's a forward conveyor or whatever, a pipe, and then so once it goes into the second building, then that's when it goes into packaging and all that, drying and packaging and stuff.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And so what's the purpose of having two buildings? I know we talked about it at Pheasant Fest or whatever, but I want to make sure that the customer's listening. Are all dog food companies like this? Are all dog food plants like this?
No, not all. They're supposed to be something similar, but yeah, it's just a great way to control any kind of contamination. When you get your raw ingredients in, like salmonella, for instance, there's salmonella on your kitchen table or your desk. And once it goes through the extrusion process, that's the kill step, the high temperature. That's when the kill step of that, would happen. And so if you ever trigger the plant, you trip
like
backwards.
Extrusion, like that's cooking it or I mean.
Yep. Extrusion is where they put everything together under high pressure and the steam, 200 plus degrees of steam. And then it almost, if you look at the kibble in a microscope, it take your carbohydrates and your meat meals and put them all together, and those carbohydrates pop like popcorn, and that's how you get really good digestibility. If you take a handful of popcorn kernels, pre-cooked popcorn kernels, and you just chuck them down your throat, swallow them down, you're going to see them again, and you're going to have a bellyache. You pop that stuff in the popcorn, you eat that, you don't ever see it again. It digests very well that way. So the extrusion process is just a cooking method. It's the process that's cooked in the machine, the extruder.
Okay. So high temperature steam type.
200. I think it's 280. That'd be a good answer for Scott and Antoine to be able to tell you the exact temperature. But it's over 200 degrees. But pressure and steam, causes that to happen.
Yeah, and then it goes in the second building, and that separates, like, because once it's been killed, I mean that stops salmonella or anything like that.
Yeah, from coming back across. You don't want to intermix that stuff.
Yeah.
So when we give plant tours, when we give plant tours, we start actually in the finished side and go through it backwards, because you don't want to start in a pre-cooked to the raw side and carry that over into the finished, because then you're bringing it with you. So we do it backwards. Then everybody washes their hands and feet, whatever, and then leave it out of there. But another unique thing about our plant is we built a lab. When we receive trucks, 2 trucks can come in, go through our lab, and we can test everything. We test our meat meals, we test our grains, and we test for the levels of calcium, phosphorus, manganese, copper, all that stuff. And that's one thing we're really focusing on now is the calcium levels, phosphorus levels. They have gotten way out of control in the pet food industry because it costs more money to keep them lower. High levels of calcium that blocks the dog's ability to absorb zinc, which you need zinc for your immune system and skin and coat. You know, if you was to burn yourself and you go to the hospital emergency room, they're going to give you some zinc cream. So you want to be able to absorb it, right? And calcium, too much calcium blocks the absorption of that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you guys are sourcing different sources of calcium?
No, we're just keeping low ash, low calcium, not buying much bone. You get high levels of ash and calcium, you're buying more bone than you are meat.
Like bone meal.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chick-fil-A, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, they're doing a better job of taking more meat off the bone. So that's why more ash and more calcium is getting into pet foods.
Oh. In the pet food world, you're buying, like, there's certain places where you can buy the ingredients, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that makes sense. So that was the one thing, like I said, I was questioning, and you guys have been really transparent that you have a process that kind of stops that salmonella or whatever. Is that normally what causes a recall?
For the most part, salmonella is a big one, and it can happen to anybody at any time. We wake up every morning and say an extra prayer that it don't happen to us today.
Right.
But salmonella is a big one that causes it. Vitamin D, too much vitamin D is toxic. That can cause recalls. Believe it or not, calcium levels that are too high can cause recalls. The FDA, they got standards that we have to go by, and there's a maximum amount allowed and a minimum that you have to put in of everything. And if you're out of those specs, it can cause a recall as well.
I bet that's not cheap. if you're cooking 300 million pounds, whatever it is, imagine, like, if a major dog food manufacturer had a recall, like several of them have lately, that has got to be a chunk of cash.
Oh man, that's a bunch.
What happens in a recall? Except for a recall, like what? Like, I've seen that, but I mean, basically, just people got to throw the food away. I mean, what are the liabilities in a dog recall, in a dog food recall?
I can only, knock on wood, I've never been through one. Okay. So I don't. I
good answer. Good thing. Good sales pitch, Brandon.
Yeah, but it's got to be very careful what you do with it and what it is and the steps you got to take, and it's a long process.
But for so let's just say the recall happened and somebody had food that was on the recall. I mean, what does that mean to the user, the person listening right now? If they went through that recall, you don't get your money back. I don't think. You know what I mean? Like from the store.
No, you're supposed to. They're supposed to. Yeah, my understanding of recall happens, you take your product back to the retailer you bought it from, and they either give you credit, give you another bag that's not involved in a recall,
or refund it.
Yeah, refund.
And then they go to distribution and get back to the company. And
goes back uphill. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a process.
I've just never, most guys, by the time you feed it, it's already gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're having a whole bunch of it. So I was just curious. Awesome. Cool.
So it's kind of like a left Twix, right Twix factory. Like both part of the same team, but very segregated for, end consumer in mind, like keeping chance of contamination low and being able to keep a close eye.
Yep. Food safety. We disinfect and clean our plant daily. And that video Scott put on Facebook though is amazing. It shows a lot, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw the new tanks. I mean, and he was explaining, they're not going to be used for a while now, but you guys are really gearing up for growth too, it looks like.
Yes, capacity is not a problem with us. I mean, there's some dog food brands out there right now that are up against the wall, and they just can't produce enough. And there's empty shelves, and that's one thing about the Next Level brand and our other brand, our Stratus brand. Man, a distributor wants a truck, they order it today, they'll have it in 2 or 3 days. We got capacity, and we're rolling on with it.
Well, you mentioned Stratus. We should probably go a little into that because you have Next Level.
Yep.
And then you have a second tier by Stratus. And I guess we could take this opportunity, man. Like I'm your customer right now. I told you I'm going to be buying feed. I'm going to give Next Level a shot. Which one am I best to look at? Like, what are the key points on them as far as, cost, value, the things that are important to the people listening?
Yep. Our Next Level line is our super premium line of food, and our Stratus is our premium line. So the Next Level, we're using Cellplex as our source of selenium, very scientific based food. And so for whole body long term health, you want to use Cellplex. You want to use the good zinc, the good minerals and vitamins. The Stratus digests very well, feeds very well, a great product, just a little bit more economy priced, and has a little different vitamin and mineral pack in it. So those vitamins and minerals, they're not cheap.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
Those of us that are, those are the listeners that are cattle folks or raise chicken and swine, they understand the value of what a good mineral program does for an animal. And we as humans, we need to do a better job getting our minerals too.
Yeah. So, but they're branded under 2 different brands, right?
Yep. 2 different brands, totally 2 different brands. Like I said, the Next Level is our super premium, and then the Stratus is just our economy.
And as far as like blends offered, you guys have a few.
Yeah, and the Next Level, we got 12 different formulas right now. We've got we call our Passion line and our Purpose line. And obviously the Purpose line serves a purpose. We got 3 giant breeds, the kibbles that have high levels of glucosamine and chondroitin for those big dogs. And we have our Ocean Catch that is no chicken fat for those dogs that have a chicken allergy. And then our large breed Performance, which has got added glucosamine for hips and joints. A lot of the hounds, when we talk about, and I know you guys have seen it too, you go run all night long or hunt all night long or all day, and the next morning your dog comes crawling out of the doghouse or dog box just all stoved up, pretty sore. Mm-hmm. Well, those high levels of glucosamine that we use, the 850 to the 950, that helps with that very much. I mean, that helps, just keeps the dog going with that.
Yeah.
And then our Purpose line, our Passion line is our, your 30-20, 24-20, 26-18, those types of products on the Next Level. And then the Stratus, we got a high protein, a high energy, and maintenance, and a puppy food.
Yeah.
So like if you were, let's say, running dogs consistently, like guys that are either making a living running their dogs or, they're hunting more than once every couple of weeks. They want to feed a good feed. They should probably look at Next Level over Stratus.
Yeah, absolutely. And every dog, like humans, every dog is different. I talk to people. Buddy could probably eat 5 candy bars and not gain a pound. I walk by a Snickers and gain 10. Oh, no.
He does eat a lot of candy.
So or we could go to a Chinese buffet and you guys can go make laps around it, and I make 1 lap and I'm going to go spend the rest of the night back and forth to the bathroom. So everybody's different, every dog is different. So you just find what works best for that dog. And with our 2 brands, we can offer everything. So we can take care of of your dog's needs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the 2420
gives you
is what I was
options.
kind of looking at.
Yeah, more
So
options.
which one, Jason?
2420 is just what I've usually fed. I mean, because I've been through a lot of dog foods over the last 5 years, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're going to try one, I try to commit, 6 months to a year, or whenever you can't get it locally, and that, I will say, that's been the biggest problem for us, is unintentionally switching feed, because, if you're going to buy a pallet, that's one thing. But, if it's down at the local retail store and you're buying 2 at a time and they don't have it your next trip in, I mean, you just got to switch feed and take what you can get.
Yeah.
And it's been rough. I don't know what is going on. You're in the dog food world, but I will tell you, several manufacturers, man, it has been like rough getting dog feed.
Very, very tough. I've seen a lot of empty shelves as I travel every week. And,
why do you think that is? Just supply chain, or is it capacity? They can't produce it fast enough?
Back when COVID happened, everything changed. It changed the world, from trying to get computer chips to dog food ingredients. And some folks have just really struggled. And there's a lot of people don't know this probably, but in the pet food world, there's, Lord have mercy, thousands of different brands, but only so many manufacturers. Right. And if you don't own your own plant, you're going to struggle to get somebody to make it for you. And that's hurt a lot of folks.
And that's where you guys being able to do it all is a big plus.
Yeah. How many plants do you think, not specifically, but if you had to just guess, how many plants are there?
I would say, and I may be way wrong, but I'm pretty positive there's less than 50 in the United States. Really? Probably between 30 to 50 pet food plants in the United States, and that's it. And that makes all the pet food, all the dog food and cat food.
The Alpha Dog guys were saying too, and we brought them on as a sponsor. So, hey, thanks Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. But they went to all in-house manufacturing, and he said that was the biggest thing, is they did it unintentionally. Like, they didn't know COVID was coming, but he's like, hands down, that is what was the big help, is having manufacturing on site.
Yeah. You just have more control, quality of your product. What goes in it. You're for sure what's in it. And pricing, when you have to have a co-manufacturer, you just add another layer of price in there, And
so is that why sometimes you'll see dog food recalls for multiple brands at a time, like they're coming out of the same plant?
Absolutely. You may see manufacturer XYZ recall 10 different brands. Well, it's like, oh, I didn't know that plant made that food,
Yeah, you can connect the dots pretty easy after that.
Yeah, I mean, we're all houndsmen, right? We can figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's a big thing. And like I said, a lot of people in the pet food or consumers don't know that. They just think because you have brand X that you make your pet food. Well, no, you make your brand X, but it's been made by manufacturer, J.
Right.
So, a lot of things go into that. It's an interesting industry. I love it. I got into it early on in my hunting days with another brand early on. And before I got into pet food, I worked for FedEx Freight and drove a delivery truck during the day and hunted at night. So
and now it's a fun working industry. All day and traveling all night.
Yeah, I tell people my phone rings from 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. I'm talking with wholesale distributors and retailers. From 5 in the afternoon to 10 or 11, 12 o'clock at night, it's coon hunters, hog hunters, just show guys that work normal jobs. They're calling me, asking my opinion or my question for help. And I like that, so.
Yeah. Jason, can we take a quick, instead of an advertisement space, can we just use a space to mention something for Colorado?
You absolutely can.
Let's do that really quick. Brandon, we're going to just pretend like this is a commercial. Like, here's the part where we come in. We're going to take a break here and talk about our sponsors. But we're not really going to talk about sponsors. We're going to talk about Colorado Houndsman Association and their dinner banquet. So June 29th, for anybody that's listening, we want to spread the word. So if you can get on their Facebook page or whatever, I don't even know if they have it posted yet on their Facebook page, but June 29th, Gunnison, Colorado. They started out having it, we were going to have it in like Salida. And I heard this week that they changed it to a more central location in Colorado, Gunnison. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be able to make it. I have a bear hunt right before that, and it's going to be tight, but I'm trying to see if I can't pull that together and see if we can't get people to make it. I've heard some guys from Idaho and Utah, and I think everybody's going to try and come in on this. So I just wanted to give a quick plug in for Colorado. June 29th. We want to get in there, fundraise. They'll be do some games or something like that. They don't have a raffle license, so there's some limitations on what they can do, but we'll have some prizes and games and try to raise some money, have dinner.
And can I shamelessly plug something too? Because Dan's got an article coming out.
No.
Okay. I'm not going to do it then.
You got to do it on your own, man. I just broke the whole thing, and now you're gonna just come in on mine.
Nothing. We pay the bills. We do what we want.
Go ahead, Jason. Whatever. I can't have nothing myself.
I was just going to say, Dan and the Blood Origin guys have got some content coming out. I won't even say it. In the magazine. Y'all know what magazine.
Shamelessly plugging your Full Cry already.
I didn't plug anything. I plugged the magazine. But no, we were looking at the premiere down there and that Blood Origins film that they put out, Lionheart, and you got to see that.
I did. It was cool.
You're lucky.
They'll I think they're going to have that at this Hound Banquet.
That's what I was thinking. So everybody check it out. Support Colorado.
Yes. I just wanted to make sure I had that on the thing to talk about earlier. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to forget. So I wanted to get that in there. Brandon?
Yes.
Can you get us a couple bags of dog food for a prize down there?
Absolutely.
All right. I'll put you on the spot. Good answer.
Go. Absolutely.
You beat me to it.
And you did. You sent some bags for OUSDA too, so I want to say thank you because that was a last minute. I was basically like the day before. It was like a day or two before I was leaving. I was like, "Hey, by the way, can you send me some food?" And you absolutely came through. You guys had it shipped in and basically almost overnighted that because we got it in time. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, continue on now. I had that, and I've been anxious for the last 10 minutes that I was going to forget, and I wanted to get that information out because we're going to be on the clock. So, June 29th, Gunnison, Colorado. I'm going to do my best to try to make it down there, but hopefully we'll get a good showing down there and have a good time and bullshit with some people and have some dinner and have a good time. All right, carry on.
Where were we?
I forgot.
We were talking about
talking about dog food, and I think we're talking about what to feed and levels and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, next level we'd want to feed that, but if you've got let's just say you got some females, some brood females, or some older dogs that you're not doing much with in the kennel, you can feed are normally active. More of a maintenance type form. You don't need a lot of protein, a lot of fat if you're not doing nothing. Fat is fuel. Protein builds muscle. A dog really can't process more than 30% protein anyway.
Right.
Anything more than that's going to go through their kidneys and right out to the urine. So I like Jason, have always fed a 24-20. Occasionally I'll do a 26-18 with the, like my old dog Spot. He's 14. Jason, that's when I was showing him back in the day.
Yeah.
He gets our new formula we got called Hero Salute. It's a 28-18 with 850 milligrams of glucosamine-chondroitin. It's more of a fish base. So those guys that like to feed a fish-based diet, that Hero Slate's a good one. But it just all depends on activity levels and what your dog needs. Most dogs don't need as much protein and fat.
What would be a difference between a fish-based protein and a non-fish-based, like a mammal?
So, like
what you call it?
Ours is a menhaden fish and salmon versus chicken, beef, and pork.
What would be the reason for somebody doing that? Allergies or?
Well, some folks, your fish-based foods are going to have higher omega-3 and 6s.
Okay.
Obviously, and the higher omega-3 and 6s are better for your immune system, better for fertility. Obviously, skin and coat. That's a lot of great benefits to that. So,
Gotcha.
Some folks got some dogs, they feel like they got, or they may have a chicken allergy, so they need something besides chicken. And chicken is readily available. A lot of chicken houses, a lot of chicken farms. So that's the purpose for a fish base.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So, and you guys are doing all those in the same plant? Are they like separated out?
Yeah, if you look,
I guess
look at that video, and it shows, I think there's 25, 27, 74 ton, 74 ton bins where they store all that stuff when it comes in. And it goes from those bins, and you have a load of beef or beef meal or chicken meal, it's going to be in its own storage bin. Menhaden fish is going to be in its own storage bin. And then you mix all that together, it goes to the hammer mill. But yeah, so you keep it all stored separate.
How big is the facility? It's got to be huge.
It's pretty good size. I think we're sitting on 75 acres down there.
So tell everybody where you're at, because you are a U.S. based company.
Yep, we are in Pittsburgh, Texas, which is northeast Texas. If you look at a map, look at Dallas and Texarkana. We're right there in the middle, just south of Interstate 30, about 3 or 4 miles south of the interstate.
Right on.
So northeast Texas, a lot of our ingredients come from right across the street, right down the road. There's some nice manufacturers there in town that we do business with. So,
I'll bet.
Yeah,
with the ag industry being so big down there, so you guys got to just have contracts with all of them, huh?
It's important to have good relationships with your suppliers. It really is, and we're fortunate enough that we do, and that helps.
How many employees do you think?
I think we're 47, 48, and 7 of us are sales reps on the road. So that plant, when Scott and Antoine built that plant, man, and when I say they built it, I mean they built it. It wasn't like they hired it done. Those guys out there on heavy equipment and everything else, they've just done an amazing job with the design and the building of this plant, where it runs so efficiently.
So how long have you known Antoine?
I met Scott and Antoine back in 2012, 2013. I was working for a pet food distributor, a wholesale distributor. And I kept hearing about this brand. The first brand they had, I kept hearing about it. Man, I want to sell that. And I'd reach out to them, and those guys are just so busy all the time. Finally, the distributor that I was working for, we got that brand on, and that's how I was able to meet those guys. And man, we just hit it off. I mean, just like that, like brothers, Yeah. Very, very, very fortunate and very blessed to be a part of their family. It's what we are. We're a family. Uh-huh. So we all have someone. Yeah, we're all very passionate, very passionate about our brands, our company, and about each other. Just like brothers. You may get your, you may get chewed on a little bit here and there, but they're going to love you back just as hard. And that's how we all are. So. And there's no yes men there. We all are women. We can all speak our mind and be respectful of that. So
I will say, I'll give Buddy a plug here. That is one of the nicest things about working for you, Buddy.
What's that?
Because at the end of the day, you usually put stuff aside. We might have to cool off for a minute or two, but you've never asked me to not speak my mind. And I have been probably meaner than I probably should at times. Buddy knows how mad I am at the vocabulary choices usually.
No, you're just gonna be like, I probably shouldn't say anything right now.
That was the last one I said. I'm not gonna say anything else because it's gonna be bad. I'll talk to you later.
At least you're smart enough to know when to say when.
Exactly.
One time. Don't give me too much credit. That was only once in
not me,
almost
Brandon.
8 years.
I'm like blah 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 blah. Then I'll be like, shit, I probably said too much. Jason's
That's
like,
me.
I'm going to say too much.
That's me. So
that's a good company to work for, though, man. Like it just, like you said, with them being transparent and people that are open like that. Product is one thing, but working for the company, when you feel like you're in the right place, that says a lot.
Yeah. very, very, very blessed and very fortunate and very thankful. And, and it's a great product. I mean, if it's not a good product, I can't go sell it.
Yeah.
I'm never going to sell something to somebody that I don't believe in, because you're only born with your name. And when your name's no good, then you're no good. So,
can I ask you a hard question?
You can ask anything.
Just because, like I talked to you, I said, I'm going to try this next level. We're going to give it a shot. But as I was going through and comparing, I noticed that the calories, like per K cup, seem to be lower on the next level feed than most competitors.
Yep.
Can you explain that? Because I know when listeners are looking at dog food, that's like the one thing that we can all figure out. It's like, oh yeah, lays it out right there. More is better, right? So just if you can get into that a little bit, because I'm curious.
I'll talk on the subject of K cows. It seems to be a hot topic. And I'll lay out. There's a method to how you measure K cows, and everybody measures them the same exact way, supposed to. Mm-hmm. And there's a formulation for how that's done. But I'll just give a good example. If we were to go to a local cheeseburger restaurant in town with Golden Arches, and we got one of their double patties with special sauce and a medium French fry and a medium Coca-Cola, that's about 1,300, 1,400 calories. But if we go to the steakhouse and we get us a 10-ounce sirloin, a side of broccoli and a side of rice, we're at about 850 calories. What do you think the quarterback at University of Oregon is going to go eat?
Right.
And why not add a few more ounces of sirloin? And then you really double up your K-cows if you need that. But so the numbers of the calories are important, but what make the numbers are more important.
The ingredients behind it.
Absolutely.
The source of the calories and digestibility and.
Correct.
Okay. That was my initial thought.
Yeah.
But I'm not a nutritionist.
And that's the same way with the protein and fat. I mean, there's a company that several years ago was handing out these little sample jars you could see, and it has said imitation real ingredients on it. And the ingredients were wood chips, clay, 1030 motor oil, rubber, and it was 18% protein and 6% fat. And it was like, so what makes the numbers are more important than the numbers itself. So just because a product has that's a 30-20, I need a 30-20, or I need a 24-20. Okay, well, what makes those numbers? That's more important than those numbers itself. Gotcha. And if you need 1,000 calories, take another bite or two of rice and another piece of that steak, and you're going to have healthier, cleaner life, and you're going to be able to perform a lot better. Now we get down here, we go out we just go load up in the backyard of Buddy's place and drink us a bunch of beer and eat us a bunch of cheeseburgers and deep fry this and deep fry that. We could go build a fence tomorrow, but it ain't going to be very straight, and I bet you we hit our thumb a time or two. If we go have us a nice sirloin, a filet, or a chicken breast and some rice and drink some water and iced tea, and get some good night's sleep, we're going to be able to build that fence and do it right.
Not going to have as much fun, though.
No, not near as much fun. Not near as much fun. But we've all been there.
I don't drink anymore anyway. So I'm like, I'm gonna be like, I'll go have it. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah. But that's just a silly example. But it's very true. And we expect our hounds to perform. These are professional athletes, right? Mm-hmm. And some of these high dollar coon hunt, where they're giving away trucks and big money. 15 seconds is the difference between going home with zero or going home with $10,000.
Yeah.
And you want to fuel your athlete the best you can with the cleanest diet you can.
Yeah. I will say there's it seems in society in general, but there is getting me more of a push for better quality for things and and appreciating quality over quantity. So
value over price.
Yeah.
And we've said this for a long time. We really truly believe we are the best nutritional value on the market. Are we going to be the cheapest? No, sir. Are we going to be the most expensive? Heck no. But for the value, we believe we're going to be the best nutritional choice out there. It's science. Science is in the bags. We trademarked that term. Science is in the bag, and that's exactly right. Proven science.
Right.
So
I'm getting ready to order some.
you're gonna like it. You're gonna love the cleanup. That's the main. That's one of the things you're gonna notice first off is the cleanup.
Speaking of cleanup, let's touch on that.
Yeah,
Buddy,
Jason don't-
today.
Jason don't matter. That's not a good selling point for Jason. Jason's got kids that like to clean up poop. I mean, they actually ask for it.
I started that campaign with the first one when he was little, and to this day, if you are cleaning dog crap, you are the big dog around our house. Can I clean that one? Can I feed that one? Can I clean that kennel? It's like, yeah, go for it.
Jason,
you brainwashed your kids.
Oh, way bad. Like CPS is probably, if they listen to this,
I'm
they'll
6
probably
years
go.
in to this journey. I'm telling you.
He's mastered this program. So let's just give a little bit. So a step-by-step process to get to the mastery of Jason and dog shit.
Step by step.
Step by step. What do you first do when you got kids? Like if you got, like, I'm already past the age. Like my kids are like,
No, yours
I
is
told
done.
them, yeah, too late. You got to start young. So if you got young kids, you got the opportunity.
Yeah, I got 2 more I got to get trained. By the end of this, I'll have it mastered. You just take them with you and you make them stand outside the kennel while you clean them for the first couple of times.
Yeah.
And natural curiosity takes over from that point. They say, Dad, can I clean that one? And you look at them and you smile and you say, son, I just don't think you're quite ready for this quite yet. And you do that for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And then you let them do one and then another.
Oh, just one. I'm just going to let you try on
no,
one.
Exactly. Just one dog. You can clean this dog's kennel. And then you move on and then it starts gravitating. And yeah, it's kind of hit or miss, but at least you never have to fight them to do it. They might not want to do it on their own, but if you say, hey, go down and clean kennels real quick. Oh, okay. Or when I travel, it's way nicer. Danny doesn't have to fight him to take care of dog poop. It's awesome.
That's funny.
But I still like good turds.
You're gonna like the turds on the Stratus the next level. Promise you.
Isn't it funny? Dog food's biggest selling point is turds. Like that's
right.
the easiest way for us to judge it.
And and think about that, because a dog really can't really talk to you. How they talk to you? They talk to you through their food and water intake and their output. And then these hunting dogs, whether you're running, mountain lions or bears or coon hunting or hog hunting or fox hunting, those dogs, if they have a loose stool, you're increasing their chance of dehydration, because how do they lose water? Through urine, through their breath, and through their feces. So if you've got runny, dirty, nasty poops, you're increasing your dog's chance of dehydrating.
Yeah.
And so you always got to keep that in mind too.
Yes. Yeah.
What about like switching food over? Because I'm feeding a similar blend, 24/20.
Yep. We always recommend, on the safe side, take 7 days and mix that. First days do a 75-25. Many I'm just going to switch them over, but we always tell everybody to take a week. That's my personal preference.
I usually just switch them over too.
Yeah.
I start thinking I'm going to do that, and then
you do it one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is safe, because again, every dog is different. Every dog's gut's different. And next level, it's all about, gut health, overall body health. Our VX Advantage, we call it, in our next level products, it's all about the gut. If your belly's not happy, ain't nobody happy. You can't sit here and do a podcast all day running back and forth to the bathroom.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but
we'd have more emissions.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want you to plug the company, where they can find out and learn about your products, and then down the road, I don't know when we're going to get around to it, but you did say we could get someone on and geek out on some nutrition stuff.
Yeah, I believe we could get that happen. But they can go to nextlevelpetfood.com and look at Next Level, or stratuspetfood.com for Stratus. Our Facebook pages are full of information. Go, Next Level Super Premium Pet Food on Facebook, or Stratus Pet Food on Facebook. There's plenty of videos of Scott and Antoine talking about the plant, building the plant, our formulations.
Yeah, that is something you guys did really well from a marketing standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
as you were building that plant, however you targeted me, I don't know how much you guys spent, but I imagine quite a penny on advertisement, because I was seeing, I'm assuming they were ads. This is, a couple of years ago or whatever, but as you were building that plant, there was drone footages, there was just different things you're doing that kind of told a story about the process of your plant. And I don't know how I got on that, you know what I mean? Like that targeting, because you were targeting me. So I assume you're targeting other people, and maybe other people were watching. I don't know. Jason, did you see those?
I did
videos,
but I was kind of oblivious.
You were not close enough to being targeted. You were not a high enough target.
No, I'm kind of a lurker. I don't hit many.
With you. Anyway, somehow I got in that targeting in your social media targeting, because I wasn't following you guys, but and the algorithms in social media are pretty invasive. Like if you watch something, this Instagram, Facebook, like the stories. I always tell people, if you click on the search button on your Instagram, it's like you can see what catches your attention pretty quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy, and you can change that. I've played with that a little bit. Like, whoa, okay, I better change some strategy here or whatever. But somehow Facebook found out that I was interested in the process of your build. You know what I mean? Because I was like, oh, what is this? The Next Level Dog Food. I'd seen that, and I was like, huh. And so I'd watch the video, and then they flag you and like, oh, buddy likes watching.
We're going to show you 50 more
dog food plants get built.
You were thinking about dog food? Here you go.
So next time they're like, hey, there's another dog food plant getting built, which was you guys. And so anyways, it was a really interesting process that you guys did, where you kind of, so whenever I did see you in Sioux Falls, I was like, hey, that's those videos that I was watching about dog food getting built. So that was kind of cool.
That's the redneck that's always posting about his plant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's up there going, "Hey, you see this right here? We get this dog food, and it's just a big old pig." I'm like, man, that's really cool to watch. The process. And so, Jason wasn't a part of the build, but I was. Just so you know, I actually.
Well, that's Jason's homework assignment now, is to go through our Facebook and look.
Yep. Now I got to go watch.
Go back in history, and you can see.
We got, and there's on our. I just looked here on our Next Level. We got 76,000 followers. That's
what I was just going to say. You got a huge following. I was just surprised.
Because a lot of us were in the early days, Jason, watching that building get built. Just so you know, you was watching other things. And whatever your feed was showing you was unholy, probably. I was watching buildings get built, just so you know.
That's too funny. And our followers come from all walks of life, from houndsmen and women, to just your people who have pets, so we do have a great following and appreciate every one of them. But I think that majority of them like that transparency. There's, you ask a question on there, you're going to more likely get an answer. And that's pretty special. Not many other pet food companies will do that.
Well, and you've been involved in coonhounds forever, but you work for a company, and it seems like the company very much values that. After talking with Antoine for just a little bit, it was very apparent that they think you guys have a good product.
Yep.
But the market, the houndsmen, the everyday, cattlemen, stock dogs, breeders, you guys are aware of those markets, and you're willing to invest in those. It's not like you're targeting fur babies, although they can eat it too, right?
Sell them too, absolutely.
Sell them just the same. But I mean, there's definitely a working dog. I don't want to say focus, but acknowledgement.
Well, what we say is common sense nutrition for the common sense consumer at a common sense price. That's our target market.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's, that just kind of hits everybody that we know. W, it's Full Cry. It's our market. So,
well, excellent. Who's the nutritionist you're going to drag on here next time?
I'd like to try to get Scott or Antoine to come on for a little visit next time. Get those guys to take a break and sit down and spend an hour. Scott both those guys love to talk nutrition. Scott really can dive down in the weeds, and man, those guys are just so smart about what they do, and they can explain it to you where you understand it. You know,
I will attest to that. That is one thing when Antoine was talking with me. It's like it makes sense, and you can tell he's really involved in it.
Passion,
you know, it's not. I'll get you in touch with my guy. He's right there.
Very passionate. You know, those guys come from the feed industry early on. So their partnership began, and they're just so smart about ruminant health, gut health, and the benefits of that. And kind of brought that into the pet food world back in the early days, and changed a lot of things. And with this calcium and phosphorus level has been so high, we're try to do some of that again and bring some things to people's attention. And no secrets, you know.
Yeah, I need to do some testing. I just ordered some urine tests, kidney urine tests. I want to do some testing. There's a couple of us that want to check. I got to do some homework on that subject. I don't know nothing about it, but we've been presented with some stuff that I want to look at. So I'm like, man, that's on my homework list of fun things to read about.
There's lots of things out there on the internet to read about. Lots and lots and lots of things. Not all are right. But there's lots to read about.
Yeah. So I got to try to understand that topic. I don't have time right now to go into it, but man, it's on my list of things. I just ordered some. You'd say you have any like suggestions on tests, blood work tests, whatever, what you would test in a dog for health of a dog and feed and all that kind of stuff?
No, I don't. If I said anything, I'd be lying to you because I don't know nothing about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Way above my head.
It is mine too. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have anything on my dogs, but I'm like, man, I'm trying to learn a little bit about it because that's one of the topics that was presented this week. So we'll stay tuned.
We've got a great nutritionist team that work for us, Dr. George Collins and his team up out of St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Dr. George has been in the pet food industry. He's a human nutritionist and a pet nutritionist. Been in the industry for over 30, 40 years, a long, long time. Wow. That guy's very smart and intelligent. And so people got questions. We give us a little time, we can get them answered.
Yeah.
What's the best way to reach out to you guys?
Info at uspetfood.com, or, shoot a message on the Facebook and it's going to get answered. They're going to see it. But website, email address is just info at uspetfood.com.
Perfect. Well, check them out. I'm going to get some food ordered. I'm going to start on it and see how it goes, and we'll stay in touch along the way.
Sounds good. I got to get going. I got to go pick up Bradley, and then we'll be back into work.
Bradley's got to make collars.
Building some more of them 225 collars.
How old is Bradley?
15.
Oh, he can work. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, he's got aspirations of shit he wants to buy. So
that's it.
He's got a Ford Ranger.
Yeah. So
thanks for coming on, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, and look forward to being on again sometime. And you guys, both of you guys, ever get to Texas area, come by. And we'll, maybe do a podcast.
I can watch the build. I can watch what I watched on Facebook.
You can see the finished product.
See real life. That'd be cool. We'll do a podcast from the plant.
There you go.
So, anyway,
well, awesome. Well, we'll stay in touch, bud. I appreciate you coming on.
You bet. Thank you guys very much. Y'all have a good one.
You too, Brandon.
Yep. See ya.